What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel for another video. In this video I'm going to be talking about the newest movie that came out, Uncharted, directed by Ruben Fleischer. This movie is adapted after a video game series which originated in 2007, and it's a very long video game series, and personally I haven't played the video games, but I've seen a lot of different gameplay, and I know a lot of different people who have played these games. And they've talked about them, and that I should get into them, and I think I would like them. It's kind of got like a Lara Croft, Tomb Raider vibe to it, which is pretty cool because I love those games too. Overall, I have to say this movie was pretty okay. It was great to see Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg work together because the chemistry that they have was really good. I think because of that, that's one of the things that kept me invested in the movie. But there are some nuances that I have with this movie that just kind of took me out a little bit. One of the negatives in this movie is how slow it gets at times. Like whenever there's talking parts or like really slow parts, they're very slow, and sometimes there's just various inconsistencies that happen that don't get explained whatsoever. And then there's these obvious things that, I'm not gonna say any spoilers in this review, but there are some things that people get messed up, and it's just like, how in the world do they not have any broken bones? What's going on here? So there's just stuff like that. Like, I get it, it's a movie, okay, but come on, man. Make it a little bit more realistic in that end, especially with all the things that are going on throughout the whole movie. You mean to tell me that nobody's getting really hurt? Come on. There's other things, like sometimes the humor just didn't really land that much, but other than that, it was a good movie. It was a great time with the folks to watch, and I think that if you go to see this movie, you will enjoy it. I've been told that the story in the games and the story of this movie are not necessarily very similar. For those of you that are diehard Uncharted fans, you may or may not like this movie that much because it doesn't keep to the originality of the games. But in my opinion, I think sometimes when you do things like that, it kind of adds a different element to something that you like. Even though, case in point, the last Airbender movie, that was just, we don't talk about that. That is not a great representation of anything at all. This movie was not a terrible movie by any means. I wouldn't say that it is a great and spectacular movie that you need to go out and see it right now, but it's a fun watch. It's a fun watch. You have other appearances such as Antonio Banderas and Sophia Ali. The way how the chemistry is between various actors and actresses is pretty good too. There are times where I feel like the villains are very underutilized and their arcs are kind of meaningless. That's not necessarily a huge jab at the movie. It's just kind of like, why are they there as a villain if there's not much villainous stuff happening, That just kind of didn't make that much sense to me in the movie, and it kind of took me out a little bit because I do like villains in movies. Obviously, you need the good guys and the bad guys, but it just didn't seem like there were that much stakes aside from health risks, and that's about it. On IMDb, I see that the movie has a 6.8 out of 10. I think that that's pretty accurate. I would even go as far as to say a 6 out of 10. Because there's just other things about this movie, like I said, the inconsistencies. And whenever you go see this movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just certain things that happen and that transpire over the movie. You can't really connect the dots to them because there's no dots to connect it to. There's just certain things that certain characters do and show up in places, and you're like, but wait, you didn't know how to get there, even slightly. So what's going on? There's just various things like that. But that doesn't take that much away from the movie to say that it's a bad movie. As I said before, great performances from the actors and actresses. I do have to say that part of the movie was really good. And I'll give it to the cinematography as well. The way how certain shots are of like the ocean or various plane rides or just different things that happen, and the way how somebody might be flipping and how the camera is. I like how that's done in this movie because it kind of makes you get a little bit into it, like, oh man, geez, like he's flipping a lot or something's going on. I like the way how the camera pans based off what's happening to a specific character in the movie. So overall, as I said, a good movie. It's definitely got its negatives, so just think about that when you're going in to watch the movie, but you should have a good time watching it. So thank you for joining me for this video. I really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it so you get a notification anytime there's a new video. Thanks again, guys. Until the next one.